Hey, I've become the Tiny Tina's... What fell? Hey, I've become the Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, and I have some thoughts.
Dragon Adventure, baby! Come get it!
Borderlands 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. I find it endlessly replayable, which is very important for me. 3, while having very good gunplay, felt like an overall step down for the series. With 3, I platinumed it, but I wasn't really motivated to play through it again. I'd rather play Borderlands 2 over 3 any day. As a result, the series has kind of been in a weird spot for me. Insert Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. The best Borderlands game since 2. And how could it not be when it's a full version of one of the best DLCs of all time? It's not even close. This game is phenomenal. If you like Borderlands. The standard launch issues this series has always had are back. The most prevalent one was with the crossplay. I tried playing it once and it was literally unplayable. I think on my Xbox I get around 200 download and it's the worst lag I've seen in a game. Oh my god, probably in like a decade. Just incredibly bad desync. I don't know why they had crossplay at launch. And that wasn't even the worst technical issue I had. There was a couple times in 2 areas where the screen would freeze, but everything would still be happening. It would do it for a couple seconds and then show me where I actually was. That is unacceptable. Something like that should not happen in a shipped game. The first time it happened, I was so worried this was going to be unplayable. Luckily, it was just a few times and the game worked perfectly fine 99.99% of the time. If it kept happening, it would have greatly affected my score for the game because it was unplayable in those very rare moments where it showed up. But luckily, it didn't show up a lot. Because this game is so fun. If you can't stand Borderlands gameplay loop and writing, run. Don't go anywhere near this game. The last complaint I want to talk about is more of a nitpick. I found I wasn't getting many class mods for the ones that I was using. I don't know why. It could be because there's more classes in this game and there's just less chances to get one for your class. But I legit think I used one for like 2/3 of the game. Not because I wanted to. It was just because I wasn't getting any others. But enough of the complaints. I think this is easily the funniest game in the series. Mostly because of its cast. Andy Samberg, Wanda Sykes, and Will Arnett all perfectly fit into this universe. Sandberg's and Sykes specifically bounced off of Ashley Birch super well. They got me more than most jokes do for the series. The story is interesting. It's not bad or anything. It's just not what I come to a Borderlands game for, you know? There was one moment with Torg that I f***ing loved, though. Other than that, it's just overall a good parody of D&D. It has some fun meta-narrative stuff, but it's still a Borderlands game. What I'm here for is the looting and the shooting. And this is the best combat in the series. Encounters get so fun in this game. It keeps 3's very tight gunplay, but changes a few things. First off, grenades have been replaced by spells. I definitely prefer them. They're way more customizable, and I found them very fun to use. They're on cooldown instead of having an ammo count. I prefer that kind of micromanaging because I end up actually using them instead of saving them for key moments that rarely happen. They're more in-depth than grenades. A good meaty spell feels way more satisfying than a meaty grenade. The second big change is with the melee combat. It's not the deepest, but they added the perfect amount to it so it can synergize with the gunplay. There are actual weapons for you to equip instead of a generic melee. They can have different attack speeds and crit rates. It's crazy that it took them until the 5th game in the series to treat melee like how they treat guns. 6 if you count Tales from the Borderlands. Going into the game, I just assumed it would be like other games in the series where you just pick character and invest in different skill trees. Here, it's got D&D elements like picking backstories and adjusting character stats. You select one class at the start of the game that you have permanently, and then later on you can select a second one that you can change after you beat the game. I love this. I thought it was a way better system than they had in 3. You have 2 skill trees with 2 action skills in each one. As a result, you'll be investing more into the skill trees that you have, and there's less skills being neglected, leading to a deeper system than 3's in my opinion, despite the fact that your character has half the amount of skill trees. It helps that you can increase your character's stats with each level too. I like the overworld in this game more than the driving areas from others. A fun little map is way more more entertaining than a great big open wasteland with nothing in it. The shrines in them were fun, and I enjoyed how they did the encounters. The D20s were fun to seek out, and provided a nice little reward. I wish I could point the camera up in the overworld though. I found that kind of annoying. And the quests are good. The one thing holding this game back for me was the lack of a new game plus. I love True Vault Hunter mode in Borderlands 2 and the pre-sequel. I hated how 3 did it, and it's disappointed to see that it's gone now. As a result, enemies scale alongside you in this game, and I don't like that. It just makes going back to old areas tedious, but realistically that's only taking off like 0.5 for me. The reason why I opened this review with Borderlands 2 replayability versus 3 is because it's very important to me. It's also why, before concluding, I mentioned the lack of a new game plus here. 2 will forever be a game I can throw onto the background and watch something on Netflix, or hit up a couple buddies and see if they're down to replay it again. And I didn't get that feeling from 3, which made me so happy when I got that feeling from Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, despite the lack of a new game plus. The gunplay is the best in the whole series. Much like with 3, everything else isn't as strong as it was in 2, but unlike 3, it is so very close here. To be fair, I don't think any Borderlands game will ever fully be better than 2, but coming as close as it does is an accomplishment, which is why Tiny Tina's Wonderlands is a 9 out of 10. The 8.5 streak ends here. Where Borderlands 3 left the series in a kind of underwhelming spot for me, this game brings it back to how I felt about the series in high school. Do you agree? Think I'm an idiot? Comment down below. Dislike the video if you're the Fate Maker, and subscribe for more bad content. Follow me on other platforms if you want. Take care, guys. Sandbergs and Sykes specifically bounced off of Ashley Birch super well. It's Ashley Birch, right?
Welcome back to the...
No, fuck off, Danny.